Some of Smokey Robinson, some of the Tim Free, things that you don't get every day. DJ Scatter remembers he's going to have it for you.
Bank of Blue Valley is a proud sponsor of KUAW Radio. At Bank of Blue Valley, we believe that an understanding of financial values sets individuals up for a strong future. Whether you want to talk about checking and savings accounts, review lending alternatives, or discuss starting your own business, we have the right people to listen and advise. Visit us at bankbv.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right. Good evening, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? This is your host, George Walker, and I'm coming to you from the KUAW Radio Studios located in the WEB Du Bois Learning Center, 4510 East Linwood Boulevard, and it's so glad to be with you as we start off another great week. Yes. It's been a great week. It's cold in Kansas City today. We had our first snow of this winter. And it's about 28 degrees, maybe lower than that now. They say it's going to be about 28 all day. So, yeah, it's definitely skipped over fall or cut fall short that we are able to get right into the deep freeze. But there's some warmer days coming. We'll be back up 50s, 60s. You may even see some 70s before this year's over with. But that's Kansas City weather for you. So I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. Glad to see you today. This is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association show and more. And it's a partnership between the WEB Du Bois Learning Center and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association of Kansas City, Missouri, that have come together to form this radio station, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. Yes, we call it KUAW. KUAW Radio, coming to you live and in living color. Yeah, that's right. We're here, and we're glad to be here. So knowledge, understanding, and wisdom is what we're about. We try to help you out, try to give you some of the things that's happening in the city, in the world. Also, some of the things going on in STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM foundations in school or pathways that kids can take in school are very important for the future of not just our community, not just our people, but of this country, of the nation, and dare I say the world. Because, if we don't innovate, if we don't find solutions to some of the problems that are plaguing this country, be it the ecology and things like that, we've got to do that. If we don't find a way to take our reliance on fossil fuels, to lower the emissions that are eating away the ozone layer, the fact that the greenhouse gases are building up, to feed everybody, a lot of those things bring about problems. You may fix one thing, something else breaks, but we've got to get our young people and everyone involved in that. So science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, that is our focus. That's what we work on. We have a couple of robotics teams that we haven't been able to work with this year, and we really hate that because the kids learn and do so much as they work on these robots. And it's not just about building the robots or learning coding or engineering, but it's about teamwork. It's about meeting objectives and setting goals, things like that are real important, that carry you through not only what we're going through with the robot, but in life. So that's what we're about here. That's what we try to do and bring to you every Monday right here at the KUAW studios here. So yeah, we've been working around here, having a lot of fun. Some big things have happened, and we're looking for even more and better things to happen. But one thing we like to do is bring you information on what's happening at NASA. So, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration is something that we follow. They've had some exciting development this week. So without any further ado, I think we'll take a look at what's happening this week at NASA. What do you think? Okay.
A touch of history for our first asteroid sample return mission, a safe return from the International Space Station, and a big move in preparation for Artemis 1. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. On October 20th, some 200 million miles from Earth, NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft extended its robotic arm and, in a first for the agency, successfully touched asteroid Bennu long enough to collect dust and other surface material to be returned to Earth for study in 2023.
And we have touchdown!
Touchdown declared.
Bennu contains material from the early solar system that could help researchers learn more about the origins of life on Earth. NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy safely returned to Earth from the International Space Station on October 21st Eastern Time. Cassidy and Russian cosmonauts Anatoly Ivanishin and Ivan Wagner landed in their Soyuz spacecraft just hours after leaving the station. The landing wrapped up a 6-month mission for the trio aboard the orbital outpost. On October 20th, the mobile launcher that will be used with our Space Launch System rocket and Orion spacecraft for Artemis 1 was rolled out to Launch Pad 39B at our Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The trek to the pad helped prepare the launch team for the actual launch of Artemis 1 next year. The mobile launcher will stay at the pad for about 2 weeks to practice logistics, validate timelines, and for cleaning. Preparations continue for the November 10th launch of the Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich spacecraft. The world's latest ocean monitoring satellite, named after the late Dr. Michael Freilich, former director of NASA's Earth Science Division, is one of 2 identical spacecraft that will collect extremely precise sea surface height measurements. Registration is underway for NASA's 27th Human Exploration Rover Challenge, targeted for April 15th through 17th, 2021. The annual student competition features student-built rovers taking on a course simulating terrain found on the Moon, Mars, and other rocky bodies in the solar system. Find out more at nasa.gov/rover challenge. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right. Yeah, telling you about what's going on there. Let me see if I can get back in the picture. All right, yeah. That's what's going on at NASA this week. And that OSIRIS-REx is really an extraordinary spacecraft. You talk about using robotics to the fullest. This is a craft that has traveled millions of miles from Earth, land on an asteroid. Then they can deploy not only cameras that they're seeing what it's doing, but it's able to take samples from this asteroid, and it's going to bring it back to Earth. A 7-year project. Let me see if I can bring that up right quick. But yeah, that was a long-term project that they're doing out there, because the asteroid, the distance of it, the timing and all the planning that goes into it, it got there, it arrived at the asteroid Bennu December the 3rd of 2018. Wow, that's saying something. This mission, and they call the mission the Origins Spectral Interpretation Resource Identification Security Regolith Explorer. That's OSIRIS-REx. That's what its name is and stuff. It's a 7-year-long voyage set to conclude upon the delivery to Earth of at least 2.1 ounces and possibly up to 4.5 pounds of sample. Promises to be the largest amount of extraterrestrial material brought back from space since the Apollo era, since they went to the moon. The 20-year anniversary of the asteroid's discovery was in September 2019, and scientists have been collecting data ever since. So, that says a lot about, planning, having long-term goals, and then, working through it. And that's what they have to learn as they work with robotics, as you work in science, as you work in a lot of fields. This was something that was planned starting 7 years ago and still will not end for another 2 years. It's got to lift off from this asteroid, and it's going to take it 2 years to get back here. So that's what we like to show the kids about robotics, how it affects or it's used today in life. And those are some of the things that are happening. There's robots working in industry, building cars and stuff. But not only that, is that we have robots that do deep sea exploration right here on Earth. So as they're finding other things, as sometimes mining can go on underwater, or finding natural resources that we can reuse, a lot of that's being done by robotics. So we like to say that that's a great thing. So this thing has flown a couple of million miles out, lands, picks up rocks and dirt and stuff from the surface, gonna store that stuff and then fly back to Earth. Now they got a little bit of problem with it right now. They don't think it's a big one, but as they're picking up the samples, some of the samples are coming back out because one of the flaps got stuck. And I thought, well, okay, that's interesting up there is how they work. But they suck it through this chamber, and they've got a flap that's stuck, so it's not closing. They think some of the rocks may have been a little too big, and they're jamming the doorway of it. And one way that they could tell is they could look at it. They got a picture. I'll show you the picture of the OSIRIS-REx collector arm, and its collector right there. So as you see that on the screen, right in the center, that light spot you can see is where a flap should be closed. So, it should open to suck stuff in, but it should also close. So it's sucking in, but there's particles, as they say, that are escaping and floating back out. So that's how they know it's not working totally right, or that door is not closing. But that's amazing too, to say that you can see that you can get that picture from deep space back here to tell how much you're collecting, what you're collecting, and what's going on with that vessel. It may not seem exciting to everybody, but I think it's really, for me, it's a really exciting thing to see that type of science, that type of engineering, robot operations that are going on, and talking about long way away. Think about the programming, the coding, building the equipment, the mechanical engineering of it, all the electronics that are in place. It's quite a feat. So, I hope that they are able to save as much of the samples as they can. If they can bring back a couple of pounds. See, they haven't brought back 2 pounds of anything since they went to the moon, since the Apollo landings. And they're planning on going back to the moon in a couple of years. By the time this thing comes back, they're going to be on the moon again. And there was a recent discovery or information that came out that they've located water that they believe on the moon. And that would be a really great discovery, because water is a thing that you can use in space travel. You need a lot of it. You need water to do other things. But if you don't have to carry it all the way from Earth, and you can get into that lighter gravitational way of the moon and going forward into space, if your water is already there, then you've got a leg up. So that can be used, in making hydrogen as a fuel source, or a lot of different things. So the fact that they may have found water on the moon is an exciting thing right now. So let's keep our eyes toward the heavens. Let's look at the moon. Let's check it out and say that, we're going back up there. And they're talking about setting up more of a long-lasting, presence on the moon, so that they'll be there and plan on being there a while, because that's what they want to use to go to Mars, is to build up the moon and the facilities there that may be able to be used for the further exploration of space. And we're not even talking about deep space. That's just near stuff. But it's an exciting time for NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So, tell your kids about it. See if they want to draw some pictures of the moon. See if they want to, I set up some stuff a few weeks ago about checking the moon's phases, the phases of the moon. And if you still want some information on that, get in touch with us here at KUAW Radio or at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. You can contact us here at the station at KUAW985@gmail.com. Or the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, you can contact at BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. I'm getting ready to try and start up a watch party, so anybody else that's not on will be able to check it out. So excuse me just a second. I'm not ignoring you guys. I know you're there and watching, but I want to get my Facebook going. been doing some work around the studio here, and it's always good if I can see you guys and if I can get more of you to see me. Let's see, 985 notifications. I don't see the video. I tell you, it's always a hunt here. But yeah, as we continue on, as we continue working, now I've got, oh, there's some stuff going on. That's me. All right, I'm here. So let's see what we can do with that. See if we can share that with some of you here. I see Mildred's here. Oh, and my cuz AC is on. Hey, what's happening, cuz? Good to see you guys. Yeah, we're just glad to be here and glad to be able to be of some service, what little bit of service we can be. We're trying to keep warm. Mildred, we are warm in here. The studio is nice and toasty. We've been wrestling with the heat there, but we're getting it together. And let's see, we'll back up this sound on here so you don't hear me twice. Okay. All right. So that's what's going on in with NASA. And also now we want to talk about what's going on with our voting here on Earth. Yes, you know, there's an election going on. For those of you that may not know, there is an election that's getting ready to happen in less than a week, or in a little more than a week, about a week from now, 7-8 days, Tuesday of next week. So that's probably about 8 days away. But it's getting ready to happen. And if you haven't voted, I voted already. So I've got my voting done, got in and out. It didn't take long. So I've already cast my vote. And it's time for those of you who haven't to start making up your mind and decide to vote. You can do early voting if you fit certain criteria here in Missouri. Absentee ballot if you're over 65, if you know you're going to be out of town, if your job is sending you somewhere, or you've got a trip plan that you'll be out of town on next Tuesday, then there are exemptions they can make so that you can go in and vote early. So I was able to go in and vote. So I've cast my vote already. As I've heard, over 50 million, maybe close to 60 million people have already done early voting. And that's good because with this COVID-19 environment that we have now, you don't want it to be super crowded at the polls. So as many people as can vote early, that'll take a little pressure off of the polls, the poll workers, and the congestion come election day. So it's good, even though you may not qualify to vote early, if you can vote early, and that'll make it easier on those that do have to go in and vote on Tuesday. Next Tuesday, not Tuesday coming up, but November the 4th, I believe. So if you haven't voted, make up your mind. And don't just vote the top of the ticket. You know, at the top it says, who do you want for president? That's the one part easy. You know, you do that, you want this person or that person. But look on down the line. There's going to be election for senators. Do you know who's running for in your state if your state is having a Senate election? There'll be congressional names on there, people running for Congress. Only the congressman for your district will be listed. So you see a lot of commercials of a lot of people running for Congress. Don't be surprised when you get there that you only get to vote for one. To say, oh, well, wait a minute, I thought all these other people. No, you have to know your district because that's the only congressman that you'll vote on is the one that represents you. So make sure about that. Now, your senator represents the whole state, so you can vote on them if they're running for the whole state. But for your congressman, it'll be just that one. Same way with your local elections. I don't know, depends upon your form of city government. If you have we have a council government here, but some have different ones. But our councilman, our council representative on the city council, we get to vote for them. Their election's not today, but I mean, as you look at it, try and find out everything on there. There are also a bunch of amendments, 2 or 3 for us here in Kansas City area or Missouri. Some places may have more, may have less. But those amendments and things are very important too. So you want to look at that. You want to read them. You really want to read them in advance because when you go there, it'll be a little short version of it. May not list the whole thing, and it may, but you may not want to sit there and read all of that stuff that you can read now. and you can read about it because you'll see commercials, vote no for this, vote yes for this. But do you really know what you're voting no and yes on? And if you haven't read, if you haven't tried to get some information, or if you didn't, listen to some shows about it, you don't have to maybe read all of it, but debates, different news shows and stuff where they're talking about your local and state issues, then you can find out about those amendments, about some of the issues that have been brought up through people putting out petitions and things like that. And you can vote intelligently. Don't just say, well, I didn't understand it, so I voted no. Well, no may be the wrong thing to vote. Just because you don't understand what it's about, it'd be better to not vote at all, because, saying no might say, well, they were going to mail everybody $200 to their house and you didn't understand the amendment, so you voted no, and now you don't get no money. Or they're getting ready to, build a new bridge where you don't know they don't need one, and you vote the wrong way. So you need to read up on the different amendments, the different judges that they're electing, or you're voting to if they should retain their seat. Those are things that you've got to do a little homework on, but it's worth it. That's what this democracy is all about. That, if you don't do that, then, it doesn't work. So all of us have a charge that we should be involved in, that we should be working to make things a little bit better. And that educated and informed electorate, that's you, makes a democracy work. So you're living in a democracy, but it doesn't work by itself. It needs us to play a part in it. So hopefully you will read, learn, study, and go vote. Be sure and vote. If you don't do nothing else, vote, 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 vote. All right, yeah, it's an election. If you've never voted before, if you have questions, you can call your election board in your county, in your city, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors. Don't be ashamed that you don't understand all of it and don't go vote, or you never voted so you don't know how it is. If you went and registered, if you got yourself registered, then you need to go and vote. Do the second step. Registration, and everybody was getting fired up to go register and stand in lines and all that. That's just step one. Step two is to go vote. So you got to remember to do that. Put your vote there, because that's what counts. And don't let nobody tell you your vote don't count. You can tell them that their vote don't count. Your vote counts. Be sure and show up at the polls and let them know that, yeah, I'm here and I'm going to vote. It's all right. All right. Now we've got another thing to go in after we've got your voting. We want to talk about a little bit of unrest or dissatisfaction. What do I want to say? Unrest is what it is. If you haven't been paying attention, and I want to thank our Lene Gray, who comes in on Tuesday nights. Lene Gray actually had some people from Nigeria on the phone, sending her information and talking about what's going on. People that are on the ground, people that are there with the people. So Lene brought this to our attention. I hadn't been paying close attention to it, but thanks to KUAW Radio, a lot of you may know or have heard about SARS in Nigeria. SARS is not the virus and stuff that they had going around, but it's the special anti-robbery squad that they have, a special anti-robbery squad, SARS, SARS, in Nigeria, that the people are protesting that they're killing people, that they're taking bribes or stealing from the people. They were formed to be a special elite force to enforce laws or to make the things better, but they seem to be going the other way, or it has gone the other way. What we've seen is that since the beginning of October, and this is from Black American News, you see, which is, or What You Need to Know, used to be Black American News, Sybil Wilkes's news that comes out, What You Need to Know. She used to be on Tom Joyner before his show ended. She has a newsletter that she puts out that I subscribe to, or we subscribe to here at the station, get some information. But it says, since the beginning of October, Nigerian citizens have taken to the streets to protest ongoing brutality by what is called the notorious Police Unit, Special Anti-Robbery Squad, or SARS. Citizens' protests increased in size and frequency following the October 3rd release of a video showing a SARS officer coming to a stop in a vehicle, shooting a man, and driving away. When the Nigerian authorities dismissed the footage as fake news, reports of protests spread via social media with the hashtag #EndSARS. So we've heard that fake news thing used before. It seems like that is a thing when people don't want you to believe what you see with your own eyes, is to start calling it fake news, or what you hear or what you know. The Associated Press has reported Amnesty International announcement Wednesday that Nigeria's security forces fired upon 2 large gatherings of peaceful protesters Tuesday night, killing 12 people, calling for an end to police brutality. At least 56 people have died during 2 weeks of widespread demonstration against police violence, including 38 on Tuesday. The group said the Nigerian government did not immediately comment about Amnesty International's allegations. So, does that sound like a familiar story? Is that something that we've heard? So it doesn't necessarily have to be police brutality of racist nature. This is a black on black. It could be a little tribal thing. We don't know how SARS is made up, but Nigeria is a independent black nation, and they're fighting against police brutality, and the police have shot innocent people by this report. Nigerians are calling for an end to the special police units created in the 1980s and 90s to stop violent crime. Now protesters say members of SARS are behind the acts of violence upon innocent people. That sounds familiar too. You know, sometimes it seems like, well, we want to give the police all these powers, all these special powers to stop crime. And it may start out as a good thing, or people feel that it may be what needs to be done. And then it can turn and flip on you. So in the 80s and 90s, say they had a lot of violence crime. You say you want to start this special unit, and now you feel they're behind it. Many of the Nigerians attacked, arrested, or killed by SARS are young people who have done nothing other than dress well, own a car, or even an iPhone. So they've got to get nervous for walking around with an iPhone, you know. Amnesty International and others have documented reports of rapes, extortion, and murder. One 23-year-old man told his story to the Human Rights Organization as a part of their investigation. He was accused of stealing a laptop and taken into custody for weeks. The young man reported regular beatings using numerous items, including machetes. Last week, Nigerian President Muhammad Buhari agreed to disband SARS, but news reports indicate nothing has been done. The fear is that a new organization called SWAT, that's a name sound familiar, created to implement improved police procedures and policies, will actually include former SARS officers. Now that's interesting. And why we need to know? You know, just as Americans, especially young people, take to the streets to continue spotlighting police brutality, young Nigerians are taking up the cause to stop the violence in their African nation. This is a time to speak up, speak out, and support our future leaders. Stand with them. Finance their efforts, spread the word via social media, and wherever and whenever one can, vote. Yes, see, that's important. We've had police killings, and we've not solved them, and it's not been justified, or justice have not been found in a lot of the police shooting cases that we have here in the United States. We named some of the people and stuff. But that's also that we have to look at our brothers and sisters that are in Nigeria that are fighting some of the same things, and maybe even harsher police tactics. So that was something. I want to thank Lene Gray of the Lene Gray Show. Be sure and tune in to her. She's on every Tuesday night from 8 to 9. And she probably will have some more information about this, because that's an interesting topic, and we've got to be united. Just like when the Black Lives Matter movement sprung up in other countries, and we said, yeah, that was good that they were supporting us and supporting what we're doing in England and foreign countries and all of that. We've got to stand with the people in Nigeria also that are looking for a better life, looking for peace, looking for, being able to live without fear. So that's SARS, that's Nigeria. So I wanted to give you some news, and I want you to stay tuned on Tuesday to check out the Lene Gray Show and hear some more about what's going on over in Nigeria, if she's talking about that this week. But she's had some live interviews with people, with actual citizens, not officers, not the government and stuff, but with people who we couldn't give their names, and they, had to be protected basically, but they've called in all the way from Nigeria to join in to tell us what's going on. So people are reaching out, and we've got to be there for them. But yeah, that's a thing. It's a lot going on in the world. It's a whole lot, and we just have to do the best we can with it and try to be of assistance where we can. All right. Now, there's another thing. All of you that are rich, not rich, but all of you that want to be rich, all of you, have you thought about doing investing? That is a good thing, working in investments or trying to save your money or trying to invest your money so that it makes more money for you is a great thing to do. We haven't been doing enough of that as a culture, as a people, as African Americans, as black people here in the United States. We're not that heavy in investments. There's some are, and there's people that have made billions of dollars, and there's millionaires that, excuse me, that have learned how to invest money, and people are doing it more and more. Some people are investing in real estate. Some are buying houses and flipping them. All of that is a way to try and increase your net worth and to also create generational wealth. You work on a job, and when that job's over, if you haven't done any investments or saving or anything, then you have nothing to leave to your children. If you take a retirement, a lot of times a retirement pays the person who worked and their wife for the rest of their life, but when they die, it's a done deal. So that's not generational wealth. That may be wealth or some money that's built up by the person that worked. But if they don't invest it into something else, then it stops when they stop. A lot of us, Social Security, all of that, that's money for the person who worked to live on, but it's not money to pass on to your next generation. And we have to think about that. A lot of times people don't think about that and helping the next generation and the generation after, or thinking 3 or 4 generations ahead. But just like we talked about that Osiris spacecraft that they started planning the flight 7 years ago for what it's doing, it's not going to end for another 2 years, or it's a 7-year mission. They started about 5 years ago, but it's still got 2 years to go. We have to think that same way about our youth, about our children. Even if you don't have children, one day you may think you're going to have children. And you need to be able to think about what are you doing generational wealth like, and we have to think about investing. So one article that we saw is investing, though, you can make mistakes, because you can invest, if you got Cash App, they have a thing on Cash App where you can buy stock. You can buy partial stocks. You can invest $5 in stock. You don't even have to buy a whole share of Apple right now. Apple may be hundreds of dollars, but if you want to put $5 on it, they'll take proportional purchases, and you can make money off of your $5. You only make a percentage of what the whole stock was worth, but they'll let you buy stock like that now, so you don't have to buy the whole share. You can buy whole shares and stuff, but you can invest with as little as $20, $5, I think even less than that, on a lot of different platforms that will let you buy fractional shares, or you can buy whole shares. Or if you get a settlement for something, you get an insurance settlement or things like that, and you get $5,000, $10,000, $30,000, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to go out and just buy you a new car? Are you going to go out and buy you a fancy bag? Or are you going to, get some new Nikes and really lay it out and, spend the money as soon as you get it? Or have you thought about maybe you need to invest some of it? But you say, I don't know how to invest, so I get to $30,000. I'm just make sure I got me a good ride because I need a new ride and make sure that, my crib is tight. That's okay, but that's all gone. Now it's gone. What if you take that $30,000 and it can make you another $30,000? Now, investing in stock doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get rich overnight. So don't believe that hype of people, go around and say, well, yeah, they put $1,000 in this and 6 months later they're a millionaire. That may happen to 1 in a billion people. You got lucky, you picked the right thing. A lot of it is long-term investing. You invest in it if you're 20-something or 30-something right now. If you start investing now, by the time you're 60 or so, you'll have a lot more money. You'll definitely have more money than if you don't invest at all or if you don't save at all. And having money, having that wealth available helps you out a lot. All of a sudden, your credit rating can change because you're not struggling month by month paying bills and getting late on a bill here and late on a bill there, and you can't build up that nest egg. So you want to do that, and you want to be able to leave your children, if possible, something so they don't have to start where you started. Yeah, we want them to learn how to work and to struggle like we did, but they don't necessarily need to start with nothing to learn that. You can learn that and have a little bit more on you. So let's think about that. And some of the trading mistakes, though, that I was looking at is you got to be careful when you buy stock. I was reading an article and it says, say you want to buy Ford. If you go into a stock thing and you say, I want to buy Ford, Ford, and you put your money down, you've just bought a share of Ford, but you don't have a share in the automobile company. Ford ticker symbol, and that's what you have to learn, is what they're listed at on the stock market. If you just say on one of those stock programs or a trading program that you want to buy Ford, you just bought Forward Industries, which is a medical monitoring system, systems case manufacturer. It's not the $40 billion Ford car company, which trades under the ticker symbol F. So if you go online doing trades, you want to buy Ford, then you just say you want to buy shares of F. Because if you put in Ford, it's something else. So you have to learn the different tweaks. And a lot of people make those mistakes. It says that for all the social media investors, be aware, Twitter Q is a bankrupt home entertainment retailer whose stock spiked 1,000% in 2013 when Twitter went public, because a lot of people bought Twitter Q. Professors at the Rutgers School of Business in Camden found more than half of listed U.S. companies share a meaningful part of their names or tickers with another firm. There are around 250 company pairs where the possibilities of confusion are particularly high, and 25% of them show statistically significant similarities in trading patterns that can only be explained by cases of mistaken identity. And that's according to the professors at Rutgers Business School. So that's a thing to look at. Undoing the trades cost at least $1.1 million in yearly transaction fees for most affected pairs. On top of that, it takes around a week for the effects of a mistaken trade to fade away. So, if you invest your money, learn about the stock market. Don't just throw money out there. And if you're doing your own trading, because a lot of people want to be their own traders. They trade themselves. Nothing's wrong with that. You just need to be knowledgeable and make sure you understand what a ticker symbol is, how you're investing in that, what the fees are. Somebody says they can invest that for you. What kind of fees are they taking? Because that can change how much money you make. If you're involved in some mutual funds or index funds that have high fees, high management fees and other fees in there, then you can lose a lot of money to where you may make some money, but you don't make all the money you could. So check that out as you go to be investors. But look at being investors. Look at buying some stock. Look at saving some money, investing in houses, real estate, and businesses, something that can be yours after you stop working, or that if you never want to work. Some people don't want to work for anybody else. They want to be entrepreneurs. Great. whatever it is, but learn how to use your money, how to use your wealth, and how to make it continue to grow so that your family, so that your offspring will have something for now on. But that's a good thing right there. Hope that you do it. Well, as we're getting near the end of the show, I want to tell you that anytime you want to have something broadcast or you want to talk about your event, you need to contact the KUAW radio. You can give us a call at 816-599-6893, or you can hit us up on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We'll get back in touch with you, or you can send us an email at kuaw985@gmail.com. Tell your friends about this. Tell us about this station and the things we are doing. We'd appreciate it. I was driving down the street today and saw some people out with a sign by the Veterans Hospital said Black Doctors Matter. And they were out there, had signs. They were right on Linwood Boulevard. So I thought I'd go back and talk to them to see what was going on. So I talked with them a little bit, and I invited them to come on to the show, come on to KUAW, and let's talk about what's going on at the VA hospital while they're out there with the sign talking about Black Doctors Matter. That inquiring minds want to know. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more information. I'm going to drive by there daily and see if I catch them out, because it's right kind of cat-cornered from the studio here, so I can see them. So I'm going to check with them some more and see if we don't get them into the studio, we'll see about doing a on-the-street interview with them and find out what's going on, because I think if there's something going on at the VA hospital, and you all know a lot of veterans, there are a lot of veterans in Kansas City. We need to know about it. They need to know about it in our community. And it really caught my attention when they said Black Doctors Matter. Okay, yeah, I can go with that. So we're going to try and find out a little bit more about that. Stay tuned. Hopefully we'll have some more information to you by our next Monday show. The BFTAA and More show is on every Monday right here at KUAW Radio. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Yes, we like to bring you some of the things that are going on in the city, some of the things going on in the world. Be sure, if you're registered, to go ahead and vote. Do step number 2. You haven't completed the shot. The play is still going until you go out there and vote. So we want to make sure that everybody votes Tuesday. If you can, vote early. If you fit in the category to vote early or to vote by absentee or mail in, do that. Mail in, I'd really get a little sketchy about that now, because it's getting close and the post office is talking about it may take 7 days for it to get there. I'd be a little nervous about that. But you can see if you can drop a mail-in ballot off. I don't know what Missouri's regulation is on that. Maybe I'll have some information next Monday. But tell your friends, tell everybody that they should be out there voting. If they haven't voted, to ask them if they're planning on voting. If they're registered, then they need to vote. If they need a ride, give them a ride. If you need information, get in touch with us. But let us know what's going on with you, what's going on with your club, your organization, anything that's happening that's newsworthy or community newsworthy. It doesn't have to be some big old thing that affects the whole world. What's happening on your block? What's happening at your neighborhood club? What's happening at the community center that you go to? Let us know right here at KUAW Radio. We'll talk about it. You can come in and talk about it. Let's get it out, because as we share information, we help each other. Knowledge is power. So remember that. Thank you for joining. I'm glad that you were here. I'll be sure to be here again next Monday, and I want you to be here with me so that we can have another good time on the BFTAA and More show. You have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody, this is Scatter. You might remember me from way back in the Zodiac